Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddham saranam gacchami, dhammam saranam gacchami, sangham saranam gacchami. Dudayambi buddham saranam gacchami, dudayambi dhammam saranam gacchami, dudayambi sangham saranam gacchami, tadayambi buddham saranam gacchami, tadayambi dhammam saranam gacchami, tadayambi sangham saranam gacchami. Panatipata veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. Adinadana veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. Kamesu mecchacara veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. Musavada veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. Surameraya majjapamadatthana veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. Amabandi sadhu sadhu sadhu. We are on page 117. And the topic on that page is 3 types of identical consciousness. So we have to look at this lower chart here. So we show that chart here, not that lower chart. So in this chart, the consciousness that arises in one existence are described below. So the karma that produce our existences produces these consciousnesses, and also the karma-born materiality. So the karma produces, this is resultant consciousness. So in the case of human beings, when we perform meritorious deeds, mahakusala chitta arise by billions, and then they deposit mahakusala karma. Mahakusala chitta will produce mahakusala karma. So one of that karma produces our existence. So when it produces our existence, it produces its resultant consciousness. So the resultant of mahakusala karma would be mahavipaka chitta. So these are the mahavipaka chitta. As one karma is producing these chittas, so these chitta, these resultant consciousnesses, they must be the same. No, they must be the same. So, we say if the karma is from the Mahakusala Chaita. For example, Somanasa Sagatam Jnana Samyutam Mahakusala Chaita. You can see, I think. So, the resultant consciousness would be also number 1 Mahavipaka Chaita. Somanasa Sagatam Kaya Jnana Samyutam Asankharika Mahavipaka Chaita. So, the same Chaita will be arising one after another. And the first one, it functions as rebirth consciousness, rebirth function. So we call it rebirth consciousness. And the subsequent ones, they perform the Bhavinga, life continuum function. So we call them Bhavinga Chaita, life continuum consciousness. And the last one, it performs the death consciousness. So we call it death consciousness or Juti Chaita. So these 3 types of consciousness in one person, rebirth consciousness, life continuum, and death consciousness, they will be the same. They will be the same. So as they are produced by the same karma, they are the same in name. If they are the same in name, they are also the same in birth. Birth means jati. Jati, birth means they all belong to the Vipaka Chaita. And then the mental factors that associate with them would also be the same. And also they take the same sense object, the same sense object. So, now what would be that sense object that they take? So it is the near-death sign just before we die in the past life. So we describe these 3 signs at the bottom of page 117. We call them near-death sign, Marana Sanna Namita. So Marana means death, Asanna means near. So at the time of near death, this sign, Namita means the sign, they arise. So we read a little. In the present life, a person will be alive as long as the kusala karma, which has given him rebirth in this life, keeps on supporting him, that is, keep on producing Bhavinga Chaita, life continuum, and karma-born materiality as karma resultant. Karma resultant means as the result of the karma. As the result of karma, so we say that karma will produce this, the resultant consciousness one after another, and it also produces the karma-born materiality at every sub-moment. So they keep on. So because of this mentality and materiality arising in us, we remain alive. So if the karma that produces our existence is strong, so we shall live long, because it will produce the resultant chitta for longer time. So if the karma is weak, then our lifespan would be short. So when we are alive, so the karma is active, so it's producing its resultant consciousness. Now when this karma is about to be exhausted in his energy, that is, it is almost become extinct. So that means we are near the death at that time, close to the death. So at that time, the many billions of karma that exist in our mental stream, remember, as we are performing meditative state, we say we are getting billions of good karma. So when you perform immoral actions, like killing a fish or a chicken or the mosquito, so also immoral minds arise by billions. So also immoral karmas exist by many billions. So of these many billions of karma, they compete with one another. So they want to have the chance to bear result for the next existence. So among the many karma, one karma will always have the chance to bear the next result. So we call it the successful karma. So that successful karma itself will appear in the mind door. So remember, these karma seeds are, they are the potential energy of volition. Volition is called karma. Volition chetana is called karma. So the property of that volition is deposited as the karma. So not just like the volition chetana, they are just mental factor. So these are very subtle. So these property, so they appear only in the mind door. It can appear only in the mind door, not in the eye door, ear door, etc. So if it appears in the mind door, so this volition that produces this karma, so this karma produces the same volition again. So if it produces the same volition, that volition also produces the same consciousness, which arises when you perform that karma. So we say, if the same consciousness that you perform the karma arises, you remember about this karma. You remember about it. So now we can read a little. So on page 118, we continue reading the second paragraph. Just before the supporting karma fades out, or because it becomes extinct, the many kusala karmas and akusala karmas in the mental stream, which compete with one another to have the chance of bearing karma result, one karma will emerge as the winner. So this successful karma may appear in the mind door of the person as karma object. When this happens, the person may remember the good or the bad action which he has performed in the past in connection with that successful karma. The moral or immoral consciousness experienced at that particular moment arises now as a fresh consciousness. In other words, it is a recurring of the consciousness which one has experienced in performing the action. So I told you, so when I explained this, before I explained it, the day after yesterday, I think I explained this. So I say, when, like the karma, you are listening to the Abhidhamma, will have the chance to bear your result. So the same type of consciousness, like it is arising now, will arise at that time. So when it arises at that time, you will remember, oh, Dr. Mon, and the charts, and he is taking us Abhidhamma. So you will remember that. So, okay. Now, in the next paragraph, at times, it may be a sign or symbol associated with the successful karma that appears at one of the sense doors. So that means this karma, the karma. So when it appears in the mind door. And sometimes this karma does not appear. So the sign of karma, we call karma namitta. So the sign of karma is like the visible objects you have seen now, or like the voice you hear, or one of these will appear. So we call it not the karma as the sign. We call it karma namitta. Karma namitta is the sign of karma actually. So the sign, like the visible objects and the sound you have observed at that time. So if there's a Abhidhamma, karma will appear, I say. So you may see me, or like the Abhidhamma chat, or you may hear my voice. So in that case, so that visible object would be the past object. No? So already passed, no? So the time. So the past object can appear only in the mind door. No? The past object can appear only in the mind door. Only the present object can appear in the eye door. No? So in the ear door, the present object cannot appear. So we continue reading. So we say it may be one of the 5 physical objects viewed through one of the 5 doors as a present object, or viewed through the mind door as a past object. This past or present object associated with the successful karma is called karma nimitta, or sign of karma. So this is the second type of the sign. Now we give you the example in the next paragraph. Now for example we say, let us suppose that a man listens to the Dhamma at his dying moment, and this good karma of listening to the Dhamma, becomes the successful karma to bear karma resultant for the next life. In this case, the present audible Dhamma words grasped through the ear becomes the karma nimitta. Now, for example, one of my friends in Molamyai, so he was a retired person, so that is over 60 years old. So after attending my Abhidhamma, he went to Molamyai Pa-Auk center and meditated there. So after he meditated there, say for 1 month, he came back. And then he, as a pensioner, he didn't do any work. Only his daughters were doing the work now. So that morning, they say, he came down to have breakfast. So after having breakfast, he went upstairs. And he listened to the Dhamma talk of Pa-Auk Sayadaw. Just while he was listening, so he passed away. So when the daughter came up, they saw him pass away. So that means that listening to the Dhamma, that is the good karma. So usually the karma that you did just before you die will have priority to bear result. So we can assume that this karma, that listening to the Dhamma talk, bear result. So the good karma, so he will be born in celestial realm. So that would be the present karma. Because the words that he was listening, why he was listening. So that become the near-death sign. So in this case, this near-death sign appears in the ear door. And in the next example, I told you a teacher. When she was about to die, she saw the class of students that she had taught before. So that means the class of students that she had taught before, when she was teaching there, now she was about to die. So that is the past object. So that past object will appear only in the mind door. So it is the visible object about the student, but that object, as the past object, it appears in the mind door. And another, another example I give you about a butcher, who killed the pigs. So when he was about to die, so now he could hear the groaning of the pigs, shouting the pigs, wake, 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 wake. So while he was about to die, so that is also, this is the past object, the sound in this case. And as the past object, it also appears in the mind door, And another type of object is the object connected with the place where you are going to be reborn. So if you are going to reborn in celestial realm, you will see celestial beings or celestial mansion. So that is at the time of near death, you are seeing them. So it is just like the present object appearing in your eye door. So in that case, when you see this, the mention of the celestial being, we say it is present object that appears in the eye door. No, so if the person is going to be born in hell, so he would see, the hell hounds, hell denizens, and hell people torturing those hell denizens. So it is a frightening sound, the scene actually. So that person at that time he may be scared, and then if he was scary about to when he was about to die, so we could imagine the hell sign is appearing as near death sign. So there is also the present object, so appearing in him. So these are three types of object. So on page 199, we give you the second paragraph there. Thus, when a person is dying, one of the three types of near-death sign, namely karma, karma nimitta, sign of karma, or gati nimitta. Gati nimitta is the sign of destiny, will always appear at one of the six sense doors. The person will die soon after that and will be reborn in the next life. Then his Pati-santi, Bhoinga Cheta, and Chuti Cheta in the new life will all grasp the Maranasana Namitta of the past life. So we say when you are about to die, that near-death sign will appear in you, and then that you die. As soon as you die, that karma, that successful karma, produce rebirth consciousness in a new life. And then it will keep on producing the life continuum one after another. So all these, the resultant consciousness, the rebirth consciousness, it takes the near-death sign. Because it is the closest sign to it. At that time, no sense door appear in it yet. No sense door yet. You are beginning with the rebirth consciousness. Rebirth consciousness is not the mind door. And then the eye, the ear, the nose are not produced yet. You are just now conceived in the mother's womb. So only the karma, the materiality also arise. But it does not form like the eye, the ear yet. So this rebirth consciousness will take the near-death sign that appear just before death. So when this rebirth consciousness dissolves, so the first Bhoinga Cheta arises. It retakes the sense object taken by this rebirth consciousness. And then the next rebirth of the Bhoinga Cheta, again it retakes the sense object taken by this Bhoinga. And this Bhoinga Cheta will take the object taken by this object. So that means all these Cheta, they take that near-death sign. The near-death sign was transmitted from mind to mind. So they all take that sense object. Okay? All right, now we go to the next topic, three types of Bhoinga Cheta. Now we read the first paragraph. In the present life, the Bhoinga Chetas take the near-death sign of the immediate past life as their object. As this object is not the new external object that appears in one of the sense doors in the present life that give rise to cognitive series of consciousness, we are not aware of it. So when we are asleep or when we do not know anything, these Bhoinga Chetas will be arising and dissolving at a temporal speed of more than 1,000 billion per eye wing. So, when we are asleep, so we are having only the Bhoinga Cheta arising one after another, and we don't know anything at that time. At that time. So even when you are awake, there are many times that you don't know anything. So during that time, only Bhoinga Cheta will be arising. Bhoinga Cheta will be arising. We say Bhoinga Cheta takes the near-death sign. So we say, oh, this Bhoinga Cheta, they just take the near-death sign transmitted from the previous consciousness. So that sign does not appear in any of the six sense door, and they are not processed according to this cognitive process. So they are not processed. So in that, because of that, we don't know it. We don't know it. There's not the near death sign taken by our life continuum. No? And we need not do or know it. No? If we are seeing that near death sign, so then it will interfere with the present image that we see now. So if you get in the interference, you cannot see the present sense object clearly. No? So the nature arranges in such a way that we don't know what we should not know. No? So our heart is beating. No? They say 70 times per minute. They say 70 times per minute. So we don't know. We don't know. No? So if we know, we will be anxious. Oh, my heart stop beating. Should I die? Will I die? Or when you are sleeping, it's pounding. No? When you are having worry, it's pounding very hard. Oh, then you cannot sleep. So we don't know. No? The blood is circulating. No? Circulating in our body. We don't know. No? And then after eating, so the food is being digested in the stomach and in the intestines. We don't know. So these did not be known. So as they are not, they did not be known, we do not know them. So we have to thank to the nature to arrange in such a way. Now we go on. Now suppose that a sense object appears at one of the sense doors. It is necessary to know this new object so that we can react to it as the need arises. No? For example, a dog is coming, running to bite us, then we have to know it, we have to defend. So if there is an envelope full of the Australian or the Singaporean dollars is there, so it's better you grab it. We have to see the new object. So if a person is greeting us, then we have to greet back. If he asking question, we have to answer back. So we have to know it. Now, in order to turn the stream of consciousness, to know this new object, that made we continued. In order to turn the stream of consciousness towards this new object, the stream of Bhavanga Chetas must be arrested or cut off first. So when we don't know anything, we say, only this life continuum keep on arising. Keep on arising. So very rapidly at the rate of 1,000 billion per eye wing. Now when a visible object appears the eye, so we say we have to know this object. Now to know this object, you have to cut that life continuum, the Bhavanga stream we call it. That Bhavanga stream must be cut off. So remember, the consciousness can arise only one at a time. So if the Bhavanga Cheta keep arising, eye consciousness will never arise. Will never arise. So for eye consciousness to arise, you must cut off the Bhavanga stream. Now, if a man is running very fast, like in the marathon race, running very fast. Now when he comes in front of you and you ask him, now you please stop. Can he stop immediately? No, nobody can stop immediately. So as he's running with great force, so he have to step at least about 10 to 20 steps before he can stop. So the same thing, they say this life continuum is arising very fast at a very fast rate. If now the conscious an object appears in one of the door, that is the signal. That is the signal for the life continuum. Now you stop. Now it cannot stop immediately. They say it cannot stop immediately. So two Bhavanga Cheta will keep arising, and then it is cut off. it is cut off. No? So it has a very good break actually, though it is going very fast, so when you the signal to stop, so it go only 2 more. No? Now that is shown by this. No, by this. So you can show the upper one, the upper, not the upper chart. So this chart, no, we don't put the connection. So these 3 sub-movements should be under this Atita Bhavinga. No? So just like here, it should be under Atita Bhavinga. And the next 3 circles should be under this Na. Na is Bhavinga Chalana, we call it. So, so this is about the sense object appearing in the idol. Before the sense object appear, we say only Bhavinga Chaita keep arising. Very first. No? Bhavinga Chaita will be arising very first. And then, at the arising moment of this Atita Bhavinga, now we call this Atita Bhavinga, all these are Bhavinga Chaita. Bhavinga Chaita. So just to differentiate them, we call this one Atita Bhavinga. So at the arising moment of this Atita Bhavinga, so this circle denotes the arising of the Atita Bhavinga. Upada means genetic or arising moment. So at that arising moment, the visible object strikes the idol. No, the visible object strikes the idol. So these 3, they arise continuously, simultaneously. No, at the arising of this Atita Bhavinga, the visible object strikes the idol. That means the visible object and the idol also arise at that time. The idol is Chakupasada, remember. No? Chakupasada is this karma-born materiality. So it arises in every sub-moment, we say. No? So that idol, Chakupasada, and the visible object, and this Atita Bhavinga, they arise simultaneously. No? They arise simultaneously. Now, after striking that visible object, so now this 3 sub-movements, equal to 1 conscious movement, we say, so pass by. That means 1 consciousness moment pass by. Then that sense object become distinct. So it appears in the mind door. At first it is just striking. The visible object does not appear yet. We say it has to develop. To develop, chemical reaction must take place. And after 1 conscious movement, so the visible object appear. So it should be, this appear here, we say. So at the arising moment of the next Bhavinga Chaita. And this next Bhavinga Chaita, we call it Bhavinga Chalana, vibrating life continuum. And this is Atita Bhavinga, means past life continuum. So remember, we say if the visible object is Atit Mahanta, very great, the intensity, it takes 1 conscious movement, 1 consciousness movement to develop itself to become distinct. So you remember that? I think yesterday or the day after yesterday, I told about that. So when we try to tell you various presentations of sense object at the eye door, at the ear door. So on page 116, on page 116. So in that the second line there, we give you the topic. Presentation of sense objects at the 5 sense door. So the first case is Atit Mahanta Ramana, 5 sense objects with very great intensity, causing a very long cognitive series of consciousness to arise. And now, what is this Atit Mahanta Ramana that we call sense object with very great intensity? How do we mention it? So in the note, below number 4, no? 1, 2, 3, 4, below that we give you the note. So in the note there you can see Ati Mahanta Ramana takes one consciousness moment to become distinct at the sense door after the striking the door. So now we say, at this arising moment of Tida Bhuinga, the sense object strikes the door. So, after one consciousness moment that is equal to 3 sub-moments, so we say the sense object become distinct. Become distinct as the idol. So, this the Bhuinga Cheta, at this arising moment, the visible object strikes the eye. And then when the visible object appears, it already passed by. And because of that, we call it Atita Bhuinga. The Bhuinga Cheta that passed by. From the striking moment to the appearing moment. Now when the sense object appears, now that is the signal for the Bhuinga stream to be cut off. Now you cut off. But we say, as the Bhuinga stream arising very first, 1,000 billion by eye wing, one per eye wing. So it cannot be cut off immediately. So it takes 2 Bhuinga Cheta. So 2 Bhuinga Cheta will keep arising, will keep on arising before it is cut off. So this 2 Bhuinga Cheta, as they keep on arising, they have to be cut off. That is, they have to let go the past sense object and to take the new sense object. So, because of that, some worry arises in it. So we say it shakes somewhat. It shakes from its original, from the normal way. All these resultant consciousness, they arise by the power of the past karma. So as they can arise by the power of the past karma, the Bhuinga Cheta, they arise very peacefully. But now, some worry is arising in them. Oh, I have to let go the past sense object and I have to take the new sense object. Because of that, they say they seem to vibrate somewhat from their original the position. So we describe that in our writing. So where are we? 3 types of Bhuinga Cheta. So on page 119. So we are reading the second paragraph. So we say, in order, so that second paragraph, the second sentence, in order to turn the stream of consciousness towards the new object. So we read the second paragraph again. Now suppose that a sense object appears in one of the sense door. It is necessary to know this new object so that we can react to it. Now in order to turn the stream of consciousness towards this new object, the stream of Bhuinga Chetas must be arrested or cut off first. Now the Bhuinga stream cannot be arrested suddenly as soon as the new sense object appears in one of the sense door. It cannot be cut off immediately. Now as a man running very fast cannot stop suddenly at a point, and at least a few steps must be allowed before he comes to rest. So also, 2 Bhuinga Chetas must pass after the appearance of the sense object before the Bhuinga stream can be arrested or cut off. These 2 Bhuinga Chetas, in trying to give away the old near-death sign, Maranasana Namitta, and take the new sense object, vibrate somewhat from their normal situation. So they are known as vibrating life continuum, Bhuinga Chalana. Chalana means vibrating. Bhuinga is life continuum. So these 2, the Bhuinga Cheta, so formally they are known as the vibrating life continuum, Bhuinga Chalana. But as the Bhuvinga stream is arrested or cut off after the second Bhuvinga Chalana, this second Bhuvinga Chalana is renamed as Bhuvingu Pacheda. Now, Upacheda means cut off. Now, Upacheda means cut off. If you combine with Bhuvinga and Upacheda, now A is eliminated, so we get the name Bhuvingu Pacheda. So we say, when the sense object appear, then the Bhuvinga stream vibrates 2 times. So after the second, the vibrating life continuum, the Bhuvinga stream is cut off. So we rename it as Bhuvingu Pacheda. This should be you. This is called Bhuvinga Chalana, and this is called Bhuvingu Pacheda. So we give them the symbol T Nada. T means Atida Bhuvinga. Na is the Bhuvinga Chalana. Na Chalana. And this Da is Bhuvingu Pacheda. So the same thing here. So now we come to here. It's a Bhuvingu Pacheda. So at the arising of the Bhuvinga Chalana, so this is the arising of Bhuvinga Chalana, the sense object appears. And then we say the Bhuvinga Chalana vibrates 2 times and cut off. So this second Bhuvinga Chalana is renamed as Bhuvingu Pacheda. So cut off. So now the life continuum is cut off. So after that, the cognitive process begins. So it begins according to this chart. This chart always begins with avachana. So we say, the avachana in the 5 door would be pancha dwara vachana, will apprehend the sense object, pancha dwara vachana. Then chakku viññāna will follow it, so it sees the sense object and transmit the sense object to sampadechana. Sampadechana receives it and again transmit the sense object to the next, that is santirana. Santirana investigates whether the sense object is good or bad, and then it transmits the object together with that information of investigation to Vuttapana. Vuttapana is performed this by Manodwara Vachana. So we say here, the Manodwara Vachana perform the Vuttana function here. So this Vuttapana is Manodwara Vachana, determine whether the sense object is good or bad. And after that, this Javana. So after determining Vuttapana, you get Javana Chitta. We call it a perceiving consciousness. We also call them impulsive consciousness. So they enjoy the taste of the sense object for 7 consciousness movement, for 7 times, enjoying the taste of the sense object. And after that, to the Dalamana. So here, if you look at the cognitive process here, after Javana, the Dalamana follows. So now one of these 11, the Dalamana Chaita, will arise 2 times. It continues, enjoying the taste of the sense objects. Now when the second, the Dalamana dissolve, the visible object and the idol, that arise at the arising moment of this Atida Bhuvinga, they also dissolve, because their lifespan of 17 conscious movement are now complete. So if you start the counting from this first Atida Bhuvinga, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So the lifespan of materiality is 17 conscious movement. So the visible object that arises here now dissolve. So as those visible object anymore, and then the cognitive process is already completed. So after that, only Bhuvinga Chitta keep arising again. So Bhuvinga Chitta will be arising. So say about 10, 20 Bhuvinga Chitta arises, and the visible object strikes again. So when you are looking at me, the reflecting light from me is going continuously. So when the reflected light strikes you, you get one cognitive series. And then after it ends, you get Boinga stream. And then another, the reflected light strikes again. So another cognitive series will arise. So it keeps on striking very quickly. So we think you are seeing me all the time. No, you are not seeing me all the time. You see me and then you get Boinga Chaita, you don't see. And then you see me again, you don't see. And then you see me again. So, but it's very first, just imagine. In one snap of the hand, in one eye wing, 1,000 billion Chaita, we say. So for this one the cognitive series, only 17 conscious moment, 17 consciousness. If you divide 1,000 billion by 17, you get 58 billion. So that means even in a snap, 58 billion cognitive series arise and dissolve. So it arises and dissolves like that. We think, we are seeing all the time. Like we are watching the movie, you think you are seeing all the time, you are enjoying. You are thinking you are seeing all the time. So actually it dissolves, arise, dissolve. So, okay. Now we get 3 types of Boinga Chaita now. So on page 120, we describe these 3 types. These 3 types. And you have to look at the page 120, the third paragraph of page 120. Now we say, when the sense object is of great intensity, Mahanta Ramana. So that means it should be the sense object is of fairly great intensity. If you make that, it will be more distinct. So in this case, it is Atit Mahanta Ramana, remember. Very great intensity. Atit Mahanta means very great intensity. Here in this case, it is Mahanta. Mahanta means fairly great intensity. Then 2 or 3 Boinga Chaitas must pass by before the time of contact of the sense object with the sense door to the time the object appears at the door. These 2 or 3 Boinga Chaitas that pass by are also called Atita Boinga. So now we say in the Atit Mahanta Ramana, we have only one Atita Boinga. Because after the sense object strikes the eye door, it becomes distinct only after one conscious moment. Only one Boinga Chaita pass by, there is only one Atita Boinga. So in the case of Mahanta Ramana, so after one conscious moment, it is not distinct yet. It takes 2 conscious moments to become distinct. So in that case, 2 Atita Boinga will pass by. So we have 2 Atita Boinga, TT. And if the sense object is weaker, it takes 3 conscious moments to become distinct. In that case, you have 3 Atita Boinga. So when we come to Mahanta Ramana, so we have to write 2 Atita Boinga and 3 Atita Boinga. So in Atit Mahanta Ramana, we write only 1 Atita Boinga. Now we continue reading on page 120, the next paragraph. So we say we have 3 kinds of Boinga Chaitas. 1 Atita Boinga. Now please read, what is that? Those Boinga Chaitas which pass by from the time the sense object strikes the sense door to the time the object appears at the door. 2 Boinga Chalana, vibrating Boinga, which arises when the sense object appears at the door. So you take note, when it appears at the door, so Boinga Chalana will arise. Number 3, Boingu Pachida, arrested. Instead of arresting, we now use arrested Boinga. That follows the Boinga Chalana. After this, Boinga stream is cut off. And that cut off we also call arrested. Is arrested or cut off, and the Viti Chaita starts arising after that. So after Boingu Pachida, Viti Chaita arise. So we say beginning with Pancha Dwaravajana, etc. Okay, now we are ready to go to the VT. No? So the next topic is cognitive series at the eye door. No? So we go Chakku Dwara VT. VT is cognitive series. Chakku Dwara is eye door. So there will be 4 cases. No? The first case is the occurrence of Ati Mahanta Ramana VT. Ati Mahanta Ramana means sense object of very great intensity. So no, we write in the next paragraph, when a visible object of very great intensity strikes the eye door, Ati Mahanta Ramana VT arises. The cognitive series may be represented by the following symbol. So this symbol we write here is the same like here. Not the same like here. Not the same here, you can see. So we put Bhavinga at the beginning to show that before the sense object strikes the eye door, only Bhavinga Chitta will be arising. Now when we come to Adita Bhavinga, we put the open apostrophe here. So in the book you can see open apostrophe. So that say, at the arising moment of that Adita Bhavinga, the sense object strikes the eye door. So, and you also remember the sense object and the eye door, that Chakku Pasada, they arise together. At that moment, they arise together. Now after they arise there, so after one consciousness movement, that is Adita Bhavinga pass by. Then the sense object become distinct in the eye door. So we give it this symbol appear. Appear means the sense object appear in the eye door now. So we give the first circle. That means arising moment of this Bhavinga Chalana Chitta. The sense object appears at the eye door. Then the Bhavinga stream will vibrate 2 times as Bhavinga Chalana and then as Bhavingupaccida. Then the Bhavinga stream is cut off. So now we give you the symbol, explanation of the symbol below. So at the bottom line, explanation that BHA Bha stands for Bhavinga, life continuum. So on page 121, we make the comment. At first, there is a stream of Bhavinga Chaitas, life continuum, will be arising. And the small circles represent 3 sub-movements that make up a consciousness movement. Now we go to number T, the second symbol. T, we call it Adita Bhavinga, meaning past Bhavinga. At the rising moment of this Chitta, the visible object and the Chakku Pasada, that is the eye door, Chakku Pasada is the eye door, they arise simultaneously. This is the arising moment, Upada, of the visible object. So we give you the symbol Upada here. Upada means arising, arising of visible object. Then we go to the next symbol, Na. Na is Bhavinga Chalana, meaning vibrating like continuum. At the rising moment of this Chitta, the visible object appears. That means it becomes distinct at the eye door. Note that Ati Mahanta Ramana, the sense object of very great intensity, takes one Chitta Khana, that is one consciousness moment, for its full development after the arising moment, or after it strikes the sense door. So it takes one conscious moment. So after we get only one Adita Bhavinga, and after that, this Na Bhavinga Chalana arises. And the life continuum vibrates. Now the next symbol is Da. Bhavingupaccida. It stands for Bhavingupaccida, meaning arrested or cut off, life continuum. So Bhavinga stream is cut off after the dissolution of this consciousness. So after Bhavingupaccida, we say the life continuum is cut off. Then Pancha Dwara Vajana will begin. So we say the cognitive process begins at that time, at that point. So Pa means Pancha Dwara Vajana, 5 directed consciousness. It is always the first cheta in the cognitive series of Pancha Dwara Viti. Pancha Dwara means 5 door. So in the 5 door cognitive process, cognitive series we teach, this Pancha Dwara Vajana is always the first consciousness. So it confronts the sense object and it directs the consciousness stream towards the sense object. The function of Pancha Dwara Vajana is to confront the sense object, that means to take notice of the sense object and then direct the mental stream, the consciousness stream towards the sense object. Then after Pancha Dwara Vajana, Chakhu Vijnana, eye consciousness arises. So it arises only just one moment. So it sees the visible object. So only Chakhu Vijnana sees the visible object. Other Cheta they don't see. They just state the impression of the Chakhu the object that is seen by this eye consciousness. So it sees the visible object. It makes the sense impression and transmit that impression to the next consciousness before it dissolves. So now Chakhu Vijnana, it appears only for one conscious moment and then it dissolves. So we say, though it sees the sense object, we don't know the sense object yet. So it transmits that object, the impression of that object, to the next cheta. The next cheta is Sam. What is Sam? Sampatechana, receiving consciousness. So it receives the visible object together with the sense impression and relays them or transmit them to the next consciousness. The next consciousness is Santirana. So this na has a dot below the N. So you have to put one dot below the N. So they differentiate between the two na. So here I am using na. So this first na, they have no dot under the N. So under this, the second na, the Santirana, so we have the dot, this Bhavinga Chalana. There is Santirana, so there is a dot below it. So, and we may use instead of san the na. I think we can also use like the san, S-A-N. So it's similar to this again. This is S-A-M, Sampatechana. This Santirana, you can use S-A-N if you want to. And now Santirana, what is the function? It investigates whether the object is good or bad. It investigates. Then it transmits. It's that sense object, and with the result of investigation to the next consciousness, which is Vattapana. So Vattapana is performed by Manodwara Vachana. Vattapana is performed by Manodwara Vachana. It is determining consciousness. It determines whether the object is good or bad. Now, in accordance with the determination, now one of the 29 Javana Cheta. So remember, we have 29 Kama Javana Cheta, that enjoy the taste of the sense object. So we write here, Ja is Javana, impulsive consciousness, enjoying the taste of the sense object. One of the 29 Kama Javana Chetas, as conditioned by Manasikara and Vattapana. So we say when Vattapana makes the decision, so the Manasikara also associate with Vattapana. Manasikara associate with every mind. It is the one of the 7 essential elements that are associated with all mind. So we say that the Manasikara is reflection or attention. If you make wise reflection, moral minds will arise. Remember, when you make unwise reflection, immoral mind will arise. So what is unwise reflection? Unwise reflection is your reflection. So ordinary people reflection is wise reflection. When we see a person very beautiful, oh, so beautiful. So when we see a person ugly, we say, so ugly. That is our reflection, our normal reflection. So if you say very beautiful, then craving will arise. So if craving arises, so Lobha, Mula, Cheta will arise as Jamna 7 times, enjoying the taste of the sense object. And that is what happens in your watching of the Chinese movie. So taking the actor and actress to be handsome and beautiful, so you are having the Lobha, Mula, Cheta. You are happy with Lobha, Mula, Cheta. And you don't know Lobha, Mula is burning you. Not burning you, you don't know, you're just happy with it. So when it finishes, you get blank, the emptiness in the mind. Oh, just now I have very good the sensation, but nothing, nothing. So then you get the suffering. Now if you say, oh, ugly, it's not so hateful, so what Cheta will arise? Dosa, Mula, Cheta will arise. So these are unwise reflection, producing immoral mind. So if we say, if you can make wise reflection, so what would you do? What would you do? How do you make good reflection? Wise reflection. I just tell you, the other day, oh, just a human being, may he be happy and well. May she be happy and well. So that is a moral mind. So if you see a dog, oh, it's a dog, may he be happy and well. Again, moral mind. If you get a bird, oh, may it be happy and well. So if we can make such reflection, we get moral mind. So try to make wise reflection. So depending, we say, on the determination. 1 of 29 karma jhana cheta will be arising. So in the case of the arahat, the mahakriya cheta will be arising. So arahat, they always made the wise reflection. They have done the vipassana. As they have done vipassana, when they see an object, they see the object, the ultimate mentality, the mentality material, they can see arising and dissolving. So when they say, they can see, oh, only mentality material. In Pali we say namarupa. Oh, just namarupa. So just taken as namarupa and as no person, then you develop moral mind. Or you can just reflect, oh, just anicca, or dukkha, or anatta. So only then moral mind will be arising. So in the case of the arahat, instead of mahakusala cheta, mahakriya cheta will arise in them. On the wingo chat number 1 is the chapter. So don't forget about this, the cheta chat. We have to refer all the time. Keep by your side all the time. So you have to know. So we say, among this kama vajara cheta. So the kama jhana is all these kama vajara cheta. They are the ku, kari, phala. Phala is only when you are enjoying nibbana. Phala cheta will be arising. This phala, vipaka is we call phala. So this will not arise in us. So this in the case of the arahat, instead of mahakusala, mahakriya cheta will be arising in them. So as we are not arahats, so the jhana cheta that can arise in us is either akusala or kusala. Only this, akusala or kusala. So that means if you make wise reflection, kusala citta, mahakusala citta will arise. If you make unwise reflection, akusala citta will be arising. No? Okay. So it arises 7 times. Then the Dhalamana continues, enjoying the taste of sense object for 2 more times. And the Dhalamana arises only when the sense object is of very great intensity. And we will find that in Mahandaramana, fairly great intensity, the Dhalamana do not arise anymore. No? So it arises only when the sense object is of great intensity. So when the Dhalamana dissolve, so 3 sago show arising, existing and dissolving. So when it dissolves, we say the sense object that arise here and the idol that arise here, they also dissolve because their lifespan of 17 conscious movement is completed. So if you count from here to there, you get 17 conscious movement. So as no visible object anymore, and the cognitive process is also finished, so only Bhuvinga Citta keep arising. No? So then when the visible object strikes again, so another cognitive series will arise. No? So that explains this. Now the cognitive series terminates with the Dhalamana. And because of that, it is also called the Dhalamana Vara Viti on page 122. No? So after that Bhuvinga, we give you the note. So Ati Mahandaramana Viti, also known as the Dhalamana Vara Viti, as it terminates with the Dhalamana Citta. No? As it terminates with the Dhalamana Citta, we also call this Viti, cognitive series, as the Dhalamana Viti. So now we explain this cognitive series, the first case for Ati Mahandaramana. So, any question? Should be very clear. No? So, good, no question. So now we go to number 2, case 2 actually. So, the case 2 for arising of sense object in the idol. We call it the occurrence of Mahandaramana Viti. Instead of Ati Mahanta, now we have Mahandaramana Viti. So we say when a visible object of fairly great intensity, so Mahandaramana is fairly great intensity, strikes the idol, 2 Mahandaramana Vitis may arise. The cognitive series may be represented as follows. So you look at the A. So in your book, in A, so we say you have 2 Atita Bhuvinga, TT. So we say for this the Mahandaramana. So you begin just like this. So before the sense object strikes the idol, only Bhuvinga Citta keep arising. Then the visible object of fairly great intensity strikes the idol, just like here. So it is always at the arising moment of Atita Bhuvinga. The visible object and the idol, they arise together. Always the same, always like that. But now, when the Atita Bhuvinga pass by, the sense object does not appear yet. So we say it takes at least 2 conscious movements. So that means only after 2 Atita Bhuvinga Citta pass by, so the visible object become distinct. So when it become distinct, so at 2 Atita Bhuvinga pass by, we have 2T. And then when the sense object appear, then you get Bhuvinga Chalana, just like here. So the Bhuvinga stream will vibrate 2 times as Bhuvinga Chalana, Vingupachida and cut off, just like here. Only we have 1 more T here. And then TT, Nada, cut off. Then Pancha Dwara Vajana will apprehend or confront the sense object and direct the consciousness stream towards the object. So it is followed by Chakku Vinyana, which sees the object. Sampadejana, there is the object, seen by the eye consciousness. Sandirana, investigate it. And Vatthavana, determine it. And then 7 Jamana, enjoy the taste of that sense object. The same thing. The same thing up to here. So when you come to here, how many Chaita already passed by? So remember, we have 2 Atita Bhuinga, 2 T, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So the visible object has only one conscious movement. Will last for another one conscious movement. So the visible object and the idol, they have the lifespan of 17 conscious movement. So they have only one conscious movement to last. So 2 the Dhalamana Chaita cannot arise. Now the Dhalamana arises always 2 times. If it cannot arise 2 times, so it will not arise at all. So it is disappointed and then it does not arise. So we say, the Dhalamana arises only in Adi Mahandaramana. So in the case of Mahandaramana, the Dhalamana do not arise anymore. It arises only when the sense object is very distinct. Only then it arises. Otherwise it does not arise. So when the Dhalamana do not arise, that means the cognitive process finished. So the Dhalamana is the final one. If it does not arise, then finish. So after that, only Bhuinga Chaita will keep arising. So now if you looked in your book, so that cognitive series. So we don't show this Bhuinga anymore. We just start showing from here. So we give the apostrophe, the open inverted comma here in the first T. Now you have 2 Adida Bhuinga. And then Nada, Pa, Cha, Sampadejana, Sandirana, Vatthavana, 7 Jamana, just the same like here. Then at the end, after the 7 Jamana, we put 1 Bhuinga Chaita. And then we put close inverted comma. That shows that when that Bhuinga Chaita dissolves, the visible object dissolves. So we show this symbol, this sign under that Bhuinga Chaita. So, and as the sense object already dissolved, after that, only Bhuinga Chaita keep arising. So after that, after the 7 Jamana, we have only Bhuinga Chaita keep arising. So there is the second, the cognitive series. So I also explained to you. So you can be explained another time by reading. So you can know better. So now we read for the explanation of this. The A. In the first Mahanta Ramana Viti, the sense object and Chakupasada idol arise together at the arising moment of the first Atita Bhuinga. So the sense object and idol always arise at the arising moment of the first Atita Bhuinga. The sense object takes 2 conscious movements, TT, for its full development. And it becomes distinct at the mindo at the arising moment of Bhuinga Chalana Na. So we put in 2 T, and then when Bhuinga Chalana arises, so we say now, the sense object become distinct at the mindo at the arising moment of Bhuinga Chalana Na. So just as we explained below, before, so when Na, Bhuinga Chalana arises, that means the sense object appears at the mind door, at the eye door. Now after that, we continue reading. Then the life continuum, Bhuinga, vibrates for 2 conscious movements as Bhuinga Chalana and Bhuingu Pachida, Nada, and becomes arrested or cut off at the dissolving instant of Bhuingu Pacheda. So after the that, Bhuinga stream is cut off. Then the cognitive series proceeds as follows. So we just like before. So we begin Pancha Dwara Vajana, 5 door directing consciousness. It directs the consciousness stream towards the sense object. Cha is Chakku Vijnana. Eye consciousness, it sees the object and makes the sense impression. And then San Patichana, receiving consciousness, receive the object, transmitted by the eye consciousness. And then this Na is with the end dot. With the end dot, you have to put dot before the end. So this Na is Santirana. So in the word Santirana, you can see there is a dot under the N. So we put N dot, N dot A. So this Santirana, in investigating consciousness, it investigates the object. And then Vo is Vattavana, determining consciousness. It is Manodwara Vachana, remember. It determines whether the object is good or bad. And then according to the determination, Javana, impulsive consciousness arises 7 times. So one of 29 Kama Javana Chetas arises 7 times, enjoying the taste of the sense object. Now so far, 16 conscious movements have elapsed, have passed by. So we have already counted. So up to the 7 Javana, there are 16 conscious movements since the genesis of the sense object at the eye door. And only 1 conscious movement is left before the object dissolves. So too the Dalamana Cheta, registering consciousness, can no longer arise. The Dalamana arises only in Atit Mahanda Ramana. So when the Dalamana cannot arise, 1 Bhuinga Cheta arises instead, and the sense object and the Chakupasada, which have arisen together, dissolve together at the dissolving instant of that Bhuinga Cheta. So we call this the first Bhuinga Cheta, after the Javana. After that, the life continuum flows on as usual, that is only Bhuinga Cheta will keep arising. Now we go to the case B. So in case B, if you look at the cognitive series on page 122. So in the case B, as the sense object is weaker, after it strikes the idol, it takes 3 conscious movements to develop itself to become distinct. So we say in this time, 3 Atita Bhuinga pass by. Then only it becomes distinct. When it becomes distinct, then you get Bhuinga Chalana. Then the Cheta arises just as above. Nada, Pacha, Sambadechana, Santirana, Vatthabana, 7 Javana, the same as above. So in this case, when the 7 Javana dissolve, so the visible object also dissolve. Because you have a 3 Atita Bhuinga in this time. So after that, only Bhuinga Cheta will keep arising. Now we read the explanation. So the explanation on page 123. In the second Mahanta Ramana Viti, the intensity of the sense object is a little weaker than the intensity of the object in number 1. So after the genesis, genesis means the arising of the sense object at the eye door, 3 Atita Bhuinga Chetas pass by before the object becomes well developed and distinct at the eye door. So when it becomes distinct, the life continuum vibrates and becomes arrested as Na-da, Bhuinga Charana, Bhuingu Pacheda. After that, the cognitive series proceeds as in 1. That is in the order of Pancha Dwara Vajana, Chakku Vijnana, Sambadechana, Santirana, Vatthabana, and 7 Javanas. At the dissolving instant of the 7 Javana, the object and Chakupasada also dissolve as their lifespan of 17 conscious movement is completed. So the cognitive series terminates, and light continuum proceeds as usual after that. Thus, there are two Mahanta Ramana Vittis which end with Javana Chitta. They are known as Javana Vara Vitti. So, on page 122, the two Mahanta Ramana Vitti, A and B, both of them, we say they terminate with Javana. The reason is Bhavinga is not counted among the cognitive consciousness. Bhavinga is not cognitive consciousness. No, it is the host consciousness, I told you. It will just keep on arising when those sense objects arise in the eye door. So we don't count like Tinada, we don't count them as the cognitive consciousness. We say cognitive consciousness begins with Pancha Dwara Vachana and terminates with, here in this case, terminates with Javana. So we call them Javana Vara Vitti. Okay? So it should be okay now for this second cognitive series. So if you are okay, we go to the next page, 124. So case 3. The occurrence of Prita Ramana Vitti. Prita means slight intensity, Prita Ramana. So in the first paragraph, when a visible object of slight intensity strikes the eye door, Prita Ramana Vitti arises. The cognitive series may be represented as follows. So just try to know the first one. If you know the first one, then you know not the rest. Now in the first one, you have 4 Atita Bhavinga. No, the reason is in Mahanta Ramana, we stop with 3 Atita Bhavinga. No, so we say, after striking the eye door, it takes 2 or 3 conscious movement to become distinct, we call it Mahanta Ramana. So if it is not distinct yet, it becomes distinct only after 4 conscious movement. Then we call it Prita Ramana. So in Prita Ramana, it begins with 4 Atita Bhavinga. The visual object will become distinct only after 4 conscious movement. Then, when the sense object appears in the eye door, then we get Bhavinga Chalana Bhavingu Pachita. Just like here again. When the sense object appears, we say, the light continuum vibrates 2 times as Bhavinga Chalana Bhavingu Pachita. You get Nada. And after that you get Pancha Dwaravana, Sambadechana, Sandirana, Sambadechana, Sandirana, Vattabana, just like here. So now you just look at the page 124. After 4 Atita Bhavinga, so we get Bhavinga Chalana, Bhavingu Pachita, Bhavinga stream cut off. Then Pancha Dwaravachana will apprehend the sense object, confront it, and then followed by Chakku Vijnana, seeing it, and then Sambadechana, receiving it, and Santirana, investigating it, and Vattabana, determining whether the sense object is good or bad. Now this Vattabana cannot determine whether the sense object is good or bad. The reason is the sense object is Prita Ramana of slight intensity, so it does not appear clearly. It does not appear clearly. So when Vattabana decides it cannot decide whether it is good or bad. So if it cannot decide whether it is good or bad, then no Javana Chitta will arise to enjoy the taste of the sense object. You don't know whether it is good or bad. So if it cannot decide, I cannot decide whether it is good or bad, then there is no enjoyment of sense, the sense object. So we don't have Javana. Just like here, after Vattabana, Javana Chitta will arise. But now, as it cannot decide whether the sense object is good or bad. So we say, the Dalamana will not arise. Now when the Dalamana cannot arise, 2 Vattabana arises in place of Javana. So when Javana cannot arise, two more Vattabana will arise. The reason is Vattabana. No? So here it performs two functions, remember. No? Vattabana is performed by Manodwara Vachana, and Manodwara Vachana perform these two functions. One is avachana, no? Confronting the sense object. No? That means it confronts, it retakes the sense object again. And then it tries to decide whether it is good or bad. So, Manodwara Vajana. Now, when it cannot decide whether it is good or bad, then it retakes, confront the sense object again. It apprehends the sense object again. And then it tries to decide whether it's good or bad. Again, it cannot decide. So, the third time, so it retakes, apprehend the sense object and try to decide it again. And again, it cannot decide. 3 times. So, if you cannot decide, then it will stop. It will stop. So, it cannot decide now. So, as it cannot decide, no jhavana arises. Jhavana is the enjoying the taste of the sense object. Only when you know it is good or bad, then you can, jhavana will arise. In this case, jhavana do not arise anymore. So, if jhavana do not arise, so we say the dalamana do not arise also. So the cognitive series, the process, terminates. So only Bhuinga Chaita keep arising after that. After 3 Vattabana, only Bhuinga Chaita keep arising. So we put in 4 more Bhuinga Chaita, to complete 17 conscious movement. So after that 4 Bhuinga Chaita, we put close inverted comma. So that means when the 4th Bhuinga Chaita dissolve, the sense object also dissolve. So if you count from the first Atita Bhuinga, so you get 4 Atita Bhuinga, and then you keep on counting, Nada Pacha, you get 8 now. And Sambadechana, Sandirana, and the first Vattabana. So up to then you get how many? 11. You get also 11 conscious movement. So how many conscious movement left for the visible object? Its lifespan. Its lifespan is 17 conscious movement. Now already it lasted for 11 conscious movement. How many left? 6 conscious movement left. So if only 6 conscious movement left, 7 jhavana chaita cannot arise. Jhavana chaita normally arises 7 times. So if it cannot arise 7 times, again, so it becomes disappointed and it does not arise again. So the jhavana do not arise in this case. And another reason is we say, as the sense object is not the precisely known, and Vattabana cannot determine whether it is good or bad, so the dalamana do not arise, the jhavana do not arise. So when jhavana do not arise, Vattabana arises 2 more times, in place of the jhavana. So we get 3 Vattabana, and after that 4 Bhuinga Chaita. So 17 conscious movement is completed. So the visible object dissolved, and after the 4th Bhuinga, only Bhuinga Chaita will keep arising. So though we stop with the 4th Bhuinga, you should know. So after that, only Bhuinga Chaita will keep arising. Now we read the explanation. Now what I explained to you now, it's now I wrote it precisely in the book. Now in the first Prita Ramana Viti, the sense object and the Chakku Pasada idol arise together at the arising instant of the first Atita Bhuinga. Now remember the visible object and the idol, they always arise at the arising instant of the first Atita Bhuinga. Now the sense object takes 4 conscious movements for its 4 development, and it becomes distinct at the arising instant of Bhuinga Chalana. So when Bhuinga Chalana arises, the sense object becomes distinct. So after that, the life continuum, Bhuinga stream, vibrates 2 times. and becomes arrested, no, as nada. Nada means Bhuinga Chalana, Bhingu Pacheda. Then the cognitive series proceeds in the order of Pancha Dwara Vajana, Chakhu Vijnana, Sambadechana. So you just look at the top, the cognitive series we describe at the top. So we are just reading that. So after the Nada, you get Pancha Dwara Vajana, Chakhu Vijnana, Sambadechana, Santirana, and Vattapana. Up to the first Vattapana. At this point, we say 11 conscious movements have elapsed since the genesis of the sense object. And the object can last for only 6 more conscious movements. So only 6 conscious movements. So on the next page, in normal situations, the jhana usually occurs for 7 consciousness movements, and if there is no enough time, it does not occur at all. So we say jhana will not arise now. In other words, as the object is not distinct and not known precisely, no jhana arises to enjoy the taste of the object. Now we give 2 reasons. One is the visible object can last only for 6 more conscious moments, so 7 jhana cannot arise. So that is one reason that the jhana do not arise. And another reason we give is, as the object is not distinct and not known precisely, no jhana arises to enjoy the taste of the object. Now we continue. So 2 more Vattapana chetas arise in place of jhana to determine 2 more times whether the object is good or bad. After that, the consciousness stream sinks into life continuum. So, when we say sinks to life continuum, that means only life continuum keeps on arising after that. So, when the life continuum arises, the cognitive series stops. So, the cognitive after Vattapana, so Vattapana is cognitive consciousness. So, as soon as you get Bhuinga, no cognitive series anymore. So, like in this, the cognitive series. So, the Bhuinga Chaita, we show it to be the lowest intensity. So, it has the lowest intensity. So, when the cognitive consciousness arises, the intensity increases. So, it should increase like this. And then, so the 7 jhana would be the highest. Then it falls back to when Bhuinga Chaita arises, intensity becomes low again. And that's why we say it sinks into life continuum. We use this word. It sinks to life in continuum means, so only Bhuinga Chaita keep arising after that. So, that is the explanation of the first, the Paritaramana Viti. Now we continued writing, so on page 124. We continued writing the cognitive series, 5 more. So now after A, you go to B on page 124. So in page 124, on page 124 in B, instead of 4 Atita Bhuinga, we put 5 Atita Bhuinga. That means the sense object becomes weaker than A. So when it becomes weaker than A, it takes the more time to develop itself to become distinct. So the sense object becomes distinct only after 5 Atita Bhuinga. So that means in B we increase 1 Atita Bhuinga in the front. So if you increase 1 Atita Bhuinga in the front, you have to cut off 1 Bhuinga Chaita at the rear. Because the cognitive series should consist only 17 conscious movement. So you have only 3 Bhuinga Chaita in this case. So as we go down, we increase 1 Atita Bhuinga in front, and then we cut off 1 Bhuinga behind. So when we come to E, no, so we have how many Adida Winger? 8 Adida Winger, and at the Re we have only 3 Vattapana. No, so no Bhuinga. So we just stop at the Vattapana. That means when the Tat Vattapana dissolve, the sense object will dissolve. No, the sense object will dissolve, and after that only Bhuinga Chitta will keep arising. Now when you go down again to F, so we get 9 Adida Bhuinga now. So we have to cut off 1 Vattapana from the Re, so we have only 2 Vattapana now. So we say we cannot cut any more, because Vattapana must arise 2 times. When the Dalamana do not arise, and Vattapana is arising in place of the Dalamana, it must arise at least 2 times. So now we stop at that. So we cannot reduce anymore. So we say we can write 6, the cognitive series for Prita Ramana. Now we give on the right, the explanation for those 5, the remaining cognitive series. So we give the symbol B to F on page 125, the third paragraph on page 135, B to F. So we can read, in the next 5 successive we teach, Adida Bhuinga is increased 1 by 1 as the object becomes weaker and weaker. And accordingly, the Chaitas in the Re have to be cut off 1 by 1 as the total consciousness movements cannot exceed the lifespan, that is 17 conscious movements of the sense object, the lifespan of the sense object. Thus, at the 6th VT, the cognitive series terminates after 2 Vattapana Chaitas. The number of Vattapana Chaita cannot be reduced further, as there must be at least 2 Vattapana Chaitas in functioning in place of Javana. So there are 6 Prita Ramana Vitis, which all end or terminate, which all come to an end or terminate with Vattapana. So they are known as Vattapana Vara Vitis. So all the 6, the Prita Ramana Vitis are known as are known as Vattapana Vara Viti. They terminate with the Vattapana. As there are no jhavanas in these vitis, there is no enjoyment of the taste of the sense object. The object is not precisely known. It seems to be known very roughly. These vitis occur in babies whose chakupasada is weak. So even when the sense object is of great intensity, its appearance is not distinct. So young babies, say after they are born up to 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, so their chakupasada, the eye door is weak. So when chakupasada is weak, even very bright sense object appears not distinctly. So it appears only as slight, at the Prita Ramana, slight intensity. So the babies, they don't remember their mother, their father, because they cannot see clearly their mother or father. So if you give the hand to the baby, so the baby, he will like try to touch it, but he cannot touch it because he cannot see it very well. So we say in young babies, not only Prita Ramana Vitis arise, they don't know the sense object clearly yet. And also for us, for elders, so when the light is dim, you cannot see the face of the people clearly. So only that time, only Prita Ramana will be arising. Or if the sense object is very far, so you don't know, is that Dr. Mon or not? So in that case, only Pratyaramana will be arising. No? So this is the third case. Then we go to the fourth case, the occurrence of Ati Pratyaramana Viti. So very slight intensity. Now we read, when a visible object of very slight intensity strikes the eye door, the object takes 10 to 19 conscious moments for its full development. So in Pratyaramana, we stop with 9 Atita Bhuvinga. So here we have to begin with 10 Atita Bhuvinga. So only after 10 conscious moments, it becomes distinct. So when the sense object is weaker, it takes longer time. So we say, if the object takes 10 to 15 conscious moments for its full development, it is called Ati Pratyaramana Viti. Ati Pratyaramana Viti. Now even then, the intensity of the object is so slight that it causes the life continuum to only vibrate 2 times without becoming arrested. So that means the Bhuvinga stream only vibrates 2 times and it is not cut off. It is not cut off, then no cognitive series arises. So the object is not known at all, not known at all. So we continued. So no Viti Chetas arise and the object is not known at all. However, the following 6 forms, Viti forms, can be written to represent Ati Pratyaramana Viti. So, though we write below, we just write to show how the mind happen during this Ati Pratyaramana Viti. And actually, no cognitive consciousness arises at all. Now in the A, we have 10 Atita Bhuvinga, because only after 10 conscious moments, the visible object becomes distinct. Then the Bhuvinga stream vibrates 2 times, Nana, only as Bhuvinga Chalana, not cut off. So it is not cut off. After that, only Bhuvinga Chaita will keep arising. So, as you have in the front, 10 Atita Bhuvinga with 2 Nana, you get 12 consciousness. So you put in 5 Bhuvinga Chaita to complete 17 conscious movement. So then you keep on writing. Cutting, you increase 1 Atita Bhuvinga in the front and cut 1 Bhuvinga Chaita from the rear. So in B, you have 11 Atita Bhuvinga in the front and 4 Bhuvinga in the rear. And as you go on, when you come to number F, you get 15 Atita Bhuvinga and you have only 2 Nana. You already 17 conscious movement there. So after that, only Bhuvinga Chaita will keep arising. So we read the explanation. As usual, the sense object and the Chakupasada idol arise together at the arising instant of the first Atita Bhuvinga. The sense object, being of very slight intensity, takes 10 to 15 consciousness movements for its full development. When it is well developed, it appears at the eye door. But being very weak, it can cause the life continuum only to vibrate 2 times without breaking or cutting off the stream of the life continuum. Thus, after 2 Bhuvinga Chalana Chaitas, only Bhuvinga Chaitas keep on flowing. The sense object and the Chakupasada were dissolved together at the end of 17 conscious moments after their genesis. The object is not known at all, as no Viti Chaitas arise, because these Vitis are deprived of. Deprived of means devoid of Viti Chaita, so they don't contain any Viti Chaita. They are known as Moghavara Viti, futile cognitive series. Futile means fruitless. Fruitless. So, no, Mogawara. So we don't know, no, the sense object at all. So, no, for the idol cognitive series, we have these 4 cases, no, because the presentation of sense object is, no, arising in these 4 ways. Now we have to make, no, some statistics about this, the 5-door cognitive series. Now we describe only the 4 cases of, no, the idol cognitive series. Now we don't describe for the ear door, the nose door, the tongue door, and the body door. They will be the same. They will be the same. So now we show you there. Now the next topic is 5-door cognitive series. So altogether 75 Pancha Dwara Viti, 5-door cognitive series, number 75. Now we read. In the process of cognition at the eye door, there are 1 Dadalamana Vara Viti for Ati Mahanda Ramana. So that refers to this one. Now 1 cognitive series for the Dalamana Vara that not terminates with the Dalamana. And then 2 Javana Vara Viti for Mahanda Ramana. For the second case, remember, for Mahanda Ramana, now we have 2 Vitis terminating with Javana. And 6 Vattavana Vara Vitis for Prita Ramana. Now that is on page 124. Now we have the 6 Prita Ramana Viti. So they terminate with Vattavana, so we call them Vattavana Vara Viti. And number 4, 6 Moga Vara Viti for Ati Prita Ramana. That is at the top of page 126, we get the 6 Moga Vara Viti. So altogether, there are 15 Vitis at the eye door. Similarly, there are 15 Vitis each at the ear door, at the nose door, at the tongue door, and at the body door. Thus, the total number of Pancha Dwara Vitis at the 5 doors is 75. Now the next page, 127. In writing the Viti forms and explaining the forms for the ear door, so, Sota Vijnana, so, should be inserted in place of Chakku Vijnana. So, for the ear door cognitive series, what you have to change is, so instead of the Chakku Vijnana, so Sota Vijnana, ear consciousness will arise. So instead of C-A-Cha, you write S-O-So, Sota Vijnana. Should be inserted in place of Chakku Vijnana. And sound and Sota Pasada should replace visible object and Chakku Pasada. So here we say the visible object and the idol Chakku Pasada arises at the arising moment of Atita Bhavinga Chaita. Now for the ear door, Soda Dwara. So instead of the visible object, you have to say the sound. The sound and the ear door, that is Soda Pasada. The ear door arises at the arising moment of Atita Bhavinga Chaita. Only that. You have to change only that. So for Gana Dwara Viti, what do you say? What do you say here? So in the Gana Dwara, the nose door, so it is the object is the smell, and then the door is called Gana Pasada. Gana Pasada, Gana Dwara. Gana Dwara is Gana Pasada, the nose door, and the smell. And for the tongue door, so it is Jiva Pasada, the tongue door. Jiva Pasada, tongue door, and the taste, they arises. And then for the body door, so we say it is the touch, the tangible object, the touch or the tangible object, and the body door is Kaya Pasada. They arises together here. And then instead of the ear consciousness, you have to put nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, and body consciousness. Okay. Now we give you the next topic is the simile of a mango fruit. No? So we try to compare this cognitive series with a mango fruit. So not just to make you understand this we teach better. So we do not read anymore, I just explain it to you. No. So we say, a man, he left his house early in the morning, say 6 a.m. Now he went on a long journey walking. So starting from 6 a.m. he been walking. When it comes to 12 noon, so he is very tired, very tired. So he has walked already 6 hours, and now the water that he brought and the food he had brought, already he have eaten, he have drunk them, so they are gone. So now, he was hungry and thirsty, and also he was very tired, and also the sun becomes very hot at noon. So he saw a mango tree, quite shady. So as it was shady, and as he wanted to rest now, so he stopped under that mango tree. And then it was at that time the breeze was blowing. The gentle breeze is blowing. So he became sleepy. So he sit down. Then he became sleepy. Then he put his head on the root of the mango tree, and he sleep. He lie down, and he fall asleep. So when he fall asleep, only Bhuinga Chaita will be arising in him. So it would be similar to the Bhuinga Chaita arising here before this cognitive series begin. So before this cognitive series begin is similar to the man sleeping. Sleeping. Now there were some ripe mangoes on the tree, on the mango tree. So the gentle breeze, so make one mango fruit to swing slowly, and then it drops. So it drops near his head. So when it strikes the door, boom! So it makes the sound. So when he got the sound, he wakes up. He wakes up, but he doesn't open his eye yet. He just wakes up, and then he raises his head. So shaking a little bit. So that is similar to the visible object striking the idol. The visible object of great intensity, Ati Mahandaramana, striking the idol. So striking the idol, so we say, when it strikes the idol, so after one conscious moment, so it appears. It appears in the idol. So now, the striking of the visible object at the idol is similar to the striking of the mango fruit. So at the ground. So because of that man wakes up and he put up his head, shaking a little, and that is he wakes up is similar to the sense object become distinct after one conscious moment. One conscious moment is very quick, just remember. And immediately, as in one snap of the hand, 1,000, 58 billion conscious moment, or 1,000 conscious moment. So we say 1,000 billion can arise and dissolve in one snap. So now just one conscious moment will be almost immediately. So as soon as the visible object strikes, we say, so it appears. So when it appears, now he wakes up. When the sense object appears, he wakes up, and he raises his head, shaking a little, and that is light. The two Bhuinga Chaita vibrating 2 times, Bhuinga Chalana, Bhuingu Pachida. So he is arising, and he opens his eye. So when he opens his eye, it is just like Bhuingu Pachida, arising. and we say the Goenka stream is cut off. So when he opens his eye, his sleep is cut off. So before he opens it, he still asleep. So now he opens his eye. So when he opens his eye, he tries to look around. What is that sound that makes the doom? That makes the doom there. What is that sound? It is just like Panchadwara Vachana. Trying to apprehend that object which appears in the eye door. What is that object? So it is just like at night when somebody knocks the door of your head, the door of your door. So you don't open the door immediately. You have to ask, who is that? So now when the eye open, what is that? He looks around. So it is just like the Panchadwara Vajana, trying to apprehend the sense object, to know what is that. Then he saw the mango tree, the mango fruit, because it was very close to his head. So he saw the right mango fruit. And it is similar to the Chakku Vijnana, sees the object. Now, if that man saw the mango fruit, what would he do? So he tried to pick it up. So when he picks up, it's similar to Sambadechana Chaita, receiving the sense object from the Chakku, the eye consciousness, from the eye consciousness. Sambadechana receives it. Now, if when this man picks up the mango fruit, what did he do? Does he eat it immediately? Not yet. So you have to look around whether it's good, or there may be some worm in that, some rotten part of that. So when you get it, you have to examine it. So it is similar to Santirana, also the next consciousness, investigating whether the sense object is good or bad. Now after you examine that on the mango fruit, you decide, oh, no worm, it is good, it's good to eat. So again here, Vutthabana decide, oh, the sense object is good. Now, as this man is already hungry and thirsty, now he get the mango fruit, quite right, and it's good to eat. What did he do? So he eat it, very deliciously, enjoying the taste. So as he make a big bite, so 7 bites, the mango fruit is finished. So it is similar to the 7 Javana Chaita, enjoying the taste of the sense object. Now, after 7 bites, the flesh of the mango is finished. So he may throw the seed away. But there are some remnants of the mango pieces and the mango juice around his tongue and around his teeth. So what did he do? So he tried to collect it. So that is, do the Dalavana, now follows a Javana, continued enjoying the taste of the sense object. So now he tried to collect it, and then he swallow, together with the saliva. So that is continuing enjoying the taste of the sense object. Now finish eating now. So his hunger is satisfied for a moment, but as he was still tired and sleepy, so he put down his hand again. So he went to sleep. So that is Pavinga Chaita will give rising after that. So that is the comparison. Now what is more important is to know the statistics on page 128. So we give you the topic now. Cognitive consciousness at 5 doors. So Panchadwara Viti Chaita. Now Panchadwara is 5 door. So Viti is cognitive series and Chaita is consciousness. So we have to enumerate the consciousness that arise in these 5 sense doors. Now we begin with, if we examine the Panchadwara Vitis, we shall notice that 7 types of consciousness participate in the Vitis. Now the 7 types of consciousness are So, no, we give here Pancha Dwara Vajana, Pancha Vinyana, Sambadechana, Santirana, Uttabana, Javana, and the Dhalamana. So, actually, we are counting this, the cognitive consciousness. So, when we count the cognitive consciousness, we don't count the Bhuvinga Chitta. They don't belong to cognitive consciousness. So, we count from Pancha Dwara Vajana. So for the eye door, it would be Chakku Vinyana. For the ear door, it would be Soda Vinyana. For the nose door, it would be Ghana Vinyana. Tongue door, Jiva Vinyana. Body door, Kaya Vinyana. So we are considering for 5 doors. So for the 5 doors, we instead of Chakku Vinyana, we use the word Pancha Vinyana. Pancha Vinyana, to mean all those 5 consciousness. And then Sambadechana, Sandhina, Uttabana, 7 Javana, and 2 Tadalamana. So that's all. Now these are Bhuvinga Chitta, you don't count anymore. So now you get how many types? Up to the Dhalamana. So below we give you the table. So we begin with Pancha Dwara Vajana, Pancha Vijana, Sambadechana, Sandhina, Uttabana, Javana, Tadalamana. 7 kinds. 7 kinds of consciousness. Now, if you count the number of Chitta that participate in the longest Viti, that is Ati Mahanta, Ramana Viti. So that is the longest Viti. So here you can see there are 7 types of consciousness. Now, what is the number? Pancha Dwaravana is 1. Chakku Vinyana is 1. And then you have Sambadechana 1, Sandhina 1, Uttabana 1, Javana 7, Tadalamana 2. So we just count, write down that. Now the next one, we have to go on. The total number of Chitta that can participate in this Pancha Dwara we teach are. Then, so we just take back that again. We try to see. For Pancha Dwara Vajana Chitta, there is only 1 Chitta. So we just put 1. Now for B, for Pancha Vinyana, so how many Chitta can arise in this here? That we say here, Chakku Vinyana. How many Chitta can arise? So for eye-door cognitive series, 2 eye consciousness can arise here. So if you count all the Chitta that can arise, so there will be 2 eye consciousnesses. And then 2 ear consciousness, 2 nose consciousness, 2 tongue consciousness, 2 body consciousness. So altogether, if you count all the Chitta that will arise, that can arise, here would be 10 for 5 door. So we say here 10 for 5 sense door. Then for Sambadechana Chitta, we have only 2 Sambadechana Chitta. So we have to put 2 there. And then for Santirana, how many? There are 3 Santirana Chitta, so we put 3. And Uttabana Chitta is performed by Panodwara Vajana. It is only 1. And in the Gamma Javana Chitta, how many Chitta? The total? 29. Gamma Javana would be the 29. And then the Dhalamana Chittas, how many? So the Dhalamana here, though we have 3 plus 8, 11. So these 3 are already counted in 3 Santirana. So we take only this 8. The Dhalamana 8 we say. So if you combine them, you get 54 Chitta. If you add up all these Chitta, you get 54. And these 54 Chittas are the 54 Kama Vachara Chitta. And actually they are the same like here. The same like this. So, the Dali, the Chapya label, chat number 4.3. So, if you look this chart, this one. So what we are doing now is for the 5 sense door here, finding the Chitta that can participate in this 5 sense door. So we say Pancha Dwara Vajana arises in all these 5 sense door. Now for the eye door, you get 2 eye consciousness. For the nose, the nose, ear door, you get 2 sota, no, 2 ear consciousness. For the nose door, 2 nose consciousness. For the tongue door, 2 jiva vinyana, tongue consciousness. And for the body door, you get 10, no, there are the 2 body consciousness. So there's a 10. No, we call this 10 the pancha vinyana, no, 10 pancha vinyana for the 5 sense door. And then for the santirana, no, we have to take 3. So this upikha santirana is 2, somana santirana is 1. No? This is 1, not 2. So there are 3 santirana chaita. And for the case of Utthavana, it is manodwara vajana, only 1. For kama javana, you have to take all the 29 kama javana. And the dhalamana, we say you take only this 8 maha vipaka. So you have only the dhalamana 8. So for the 5 doors, how many you get? This 46 is for 1 door. If for the 5 door, you have to add this, instead of 2 chakku vinyana, you have to take this 10 panja vinyana. So you have to increase 8. So if you add 8 to 46, you get 54 chaita. The same. No, this all the chaita that arise in 5 sense door is 55 kama javana chaita. Kama vachara chaita. The kama chaita. No, the kama chaita, 54 of them. Now, we still have to do some more, no, one more concentration on page 129. The object and the base taken by each viti chaita. Now you just please read it. All the panchadvara viti chaitas, no, grasp means they take, no, they take the present sense object that exists at the sense door. The pancha vinyana chaitas are bound by chakku, or bound by pancha vatu. So that is, chakku vinyana chaita are bound by chakku vatu, soda vinyana chaita are bound by soda vatu, etc. Why the mano vinyana chaitas are bound by hadya vatus? So if you go on with this, the chart again, number 9, the chart number 9. So we say, the cognitive consciousness, these consciousness, starting from Panchadvara Vajana to the Dhalamana. Now, in this idol cognitive, the series, what is the sense object taken by these cognitive consciousnesses? What is the sense object? The sense object is this, the visible object of very great intensity. No? So, Ati Mahanta Ramana means sense object of very great intensity. Now, this sense object we say it arises at the arising moment of this Atita Bhuinga Chaita. It arises here and it dissolves when the second Dhalamana Chaita dissolves. So during this cognitive process, the visible object appears in the idol, and that is called present visible object. Present visible object. They must exist in the idol. If they exist in the idol, we call it the present object. Present object. And in the same way, in the ear-door cognitive series, you take the sound that still exists during this cognitive series in the ear. And in the nose door, you have to take the smell. In the tongue door, the taste. In the body door, the tangible object that still exists in the door. So they are called present sense object. So that's we say, all these 46, the idol cognitive consciousness, they take the present visible object. And the 46 ear door cognitive consciousness, they will take the present sound, the present smell, the present taste, all the present sound. Now, what is the basis? So for each consciousness to arise, they have to take the sense object and they have to depend on the base, the physical base. We say the eye consciousness depend on the eye base. Ear consciousness depend on the ear base. Nose consciousness depend on the nose base. Now that is we already know. We already know from chapter 3. We already know that in chapter 3 we already talk about this. Now what we now want to know here is, there are many eye bases. Many eye bases, so we say there's karma bond, so auga. So the karma, they produce the karma bond materiality at every sub-moment. So that means eye consciousness is produced at every sub-moment. Every sub-moment eye consciousness, new eye consciousness, eye base, eye base is Chakupasada. Eye door is also Chakupasada. Eye base is also Chakupasada. It is produced at every sub-moment. Every sub-moment. No? And then the same thing with the nose base, the tongue base, the body base, they are produced at every sub-moment. Every sub-moment they are producing. So, every sub-moment they are being produced. So that means, when one consciousness arises, there are 3 sub-moments already. So, and then after they arise, they can exist for, their lifespan is 17 conscious moment, the materiality. 17 conscious moment is equal to 51 sub-moment, if you multiply by 3. So that means, 51 the sub-movement. So they'll exist together. So they don't dissolve. After they arise, they just remain. They exist for 51 sub-movement. So when the visible object strikes the eye, which sub-movement, which the Chakupasada it strikes? So don't forget the simile of striking image. No, striking image. So we say when you strike image there, the flame arises at the striking point. The same thing when the visible object strikes the eye base, the eye door is the eye base, the same thing, Chakupasada. So eye consciousness arises at the striking point. Now that striking point is where? On that eye Chakupasada, that arises together with the visible object. So remember, the visible object and the Chakupasada, the eye door, they arise together, we say. They arise together. So they arise together means, when the visible object strikes the eye door, so we say the eye consciousness arises at the striking point. So that eye consciousness strikes, arises at the Chakupasada, where the visible object strikes. You get it? So at the striking point, we say, at the striking point, the visible object and the Chakupasada and the visible, the eye consciousness, they are at the same point. They are all these 3, they are at the same point, like the flame arises at the where you strike here. The flame is also arise here, so all 3 of them are together at that time. So that means that eye consciousness and its mental factors will depend on that, the eye base, where the visible object strikes. So we say this eye base, Chakupasada, arise together with the visible object. So it has the same lifespan as the visible object. So, and that's why we call this. Now, on page 129, we will keep on reading. So we have read the first paragraph. No? So now we read the second paragraph. For illustration, all idle cognitive consciousnesses of Abhidhamma, no, we teach, no, we teach grasp the visible object. So we say, no, all idle cognitive consciousnesses, all these consciousnesses, no, in this idle cognitive series, no, all the consciousness in this cognitive series, they grasp or they take the visible object that appears at the idol at the arising instant of Bhuvinga Chalana. Remember, we say the idol and the visible object, these arise together at the arising moment of Atita Bhuvinga. So they arise together there. So the visible object that appears at the idol at the arising instant of Bhuvinga Chalana appears, the visible object appear at the idol at the arising instant of the Bhuvinga Chalana. So the visible object strikes the idol at this point, and it appears at the idol at this point. That is, at when the Bhuvinga Chalana arises, it appears. And it dissolves only when the Dalamana, the second Dalamana, dissolves. So during this time, it exists in the idol, this visible object. So we continue reading. And dissolve at the dissolving instant of the second Dalamana Cheta. The third paragraph now. The two Chakku Vijnana Chetas are bound, by the Chakku Vatu, Chakku Pasada, which has arisen together with the visible object at the arising instant of the Atita Bhuvinga. So I told you, at the arising of that Atita Bhuvinga, the visible object, and then the Chakku Pasada, they arise together. And then eye consciousness arises at that time. When they come in contact, eye consciousness arises. So eye consciousness will depend on that eye base. So we could keep reading. This Vatu, which has the same lifespan as the visible object, is called Majjhima Yuga Vatu. Majjhima means medium or moderate. Medium or moderate. And then Yuga, Ayu means lifespan. Now Vatu is the base. So this base, Majjhima Yuga, has the same lifespan as the visible object. So we read this sentence again. This Vatu, which has the same lifespan as the visible object, is called Majjhima Yuga Vatu. So the eye consciousness will depend on this Majjhima Yuga Vatu. That will depend on the eye base that has the same lifespan as the visible object, because they arise together. They arise together and they strike together. Now, those Vatu which have arisen earlier than the visible object, and thus will dissolve earlier than the visible object, are known as the physical basis of shorter lifespan Manda Yuga Vatu. Manda means short. Ayu means lifespan, shorter lifespan. So, we say here, now the eye bases, they are arising at every sub-moment. Every sub-moment. And we go to the above again. Those, when we say, the eye base, the eye base, Chakku Pasada, that arises when the visible object strikes the eye door. So the eye door, Chakku Pasada, is the eye base. And the visible object, they arise together. They arise together and they dissolve together, and we call this the Chakku Pasada as Majjhima Yuga Vatu. Majjhima Yuga means the eye base that have the same lifespan as the visible object. So, the eye consciousness will depend on that, on this, the eye base. And we say now, those, the Chakkhupasada that arise earlier, before the visible object strikes. So they arise earlier. As they arise earlier, they will dissolve earlier than the visible object. So as they dissolve earlier than the visible object, they seem to have shorter lifespan than visible object. No? So the eye consciousness do not depend on these shorter lifespan, the Chakkhupasada. And again, those Chakkhupasada that arise after the visible object arises, so after, so they will dissolve after the visible object dissolve. So they seem to have longer lifespan than the visible object. So that's what we write, we continue writing. So the third, in the third paragraph, so the last sentence, those vatu, that is Chakkhupasada, that's vatu, which arise later than the visible object, and thus will dissolve later than the visible object, are known as physical basis of longer lifespan, Amanda Yuga Vatu. No, Manda is short, Amanda means not short means longer. So they are called physical basis of longer lifespan. So again, what we want to mean here is, the eye consciousness do not depend on the shorter lifespan or longer lifespan, the Chakkhupasada. It depends only on the Chakkhupasada, which have the same lifespan as the visible object. So that is for the visible object, in this cognitive series. And the same thing, when we say the visible object, the Chakkhupasada, the Vijnana, and then for the ear door, the ear consciousness will also depend on that ear base that arises together with the sense object, and that has the same lifespan as the sound, the sense object. And again, the nose, the consciousness, Ghana, Vijnana, will depend on the physical base, the nose, the Ghana, Pasada, which arise together with the visible object. So they always depend on the physical base. They have the same lifespan as the object, the sense object. Now all the rest, beside those, the 10 Pancha Vijnana, so the 10 Dvi Pancha Vijnana Chaita, eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, beside them, all these Chaita, they are known as Mano Vijnana. So there are only 6 kinds of consciousness. When we teach, according to 6 sense door, we say there are 6 kinds of consciousness. So, the eye consciousness, the ear consciousness, the nose consciousness, the tongue consciousness, body consciousness, they arise here. So all the rest, all these, they belong to Mano, mind consciousness. Mind consciousness. So they all depend on the heart base. So all the rest, they depend on the heart base. 79 of them, remember? So 10 arises here, the 10. So beside the 10, all these are 79. They depend on the heart base. Now again, on which heart base? So as the heart base is the same thing, just like they are mind-born materiality, they are produced at every sub-moment. There are many heart bases in the heart. Which heart bases they depend on? So, the Buddha is very precise. So when we say, they depend on the heart base, no, not enough. Which heart base? As there are many heart bases. So now we give you the answer in the next paragraph. In the last paragraph of page 129 now. All the remaining Panchadwara Viti Chaitas are Mano Vijnana Chaitas. That is mind consciousness. They are individually and respectively born by the heart base, which has arisen along with the preceding citta. The preceding citta. Now we explain this. That is, the Hadyavatu, which has lasted for one conscious moment. For example, Panchadwara Vajana is born by the heart base, which are arisen along with Bhuingu Pachida. So now, so now we go again. So among four those mind consciousness, so this Panchadwara Vajana, which heart base it depends on? So we say it depends on the heart base, which rise along with the preceding citta. The preceding citta is Bhuingu Pachida. So Panchadwara Vajana will depend on the heart base that arise together with Bhuingu Pachida. And that means that that heart base would have lasted one conscious moment when Panchadwara Vajana arises. So Panchadwara Vajana arise on the heart base that have already lasted for one conscious movement. Now the reason is, so for materiality, why they arise? They are not stable yet. Only so for materiality, after they arise, we say only after one sub-moment they reach the existing state. Now when they reach the existing state, they become stable. So because of that, the consciousness, the mind consciousness, depend on the heart base that have already lasted for one conscious moment. That means that have reached the stable state. So they depend only on the stable one. The weaker one they cannot depend on. So that is why we say, so now when you come to Sampadechana, Sampadechana will depend on the heart base that arises together with the Chakku Vijnana, or that has lasted for one conscious moment. And Santirana will depend on the heart base that arise along with Sampadechana, or that have lasted for one conscious moment. At the same thing, all these citta depend on the heart base that have already lasted for one conscious moment. So that's very, very exact. So if you know to that, you know the 5 Panchadwara Viti now. So very nice. We finish up to that. Oh, one man there.
The heart base is rupa.
Yes, the heart base. The heart base is materiality.
So it will last for 17.
Conscious movement. Correct. Correct. Any more question? Yes?
Actually, the lifespan for the Majjhima, Jhutta, Madhyaka, and the Abhidhamma, Jhutta, Viti is Vatu is actually the same lifespan. It's just that
You mean that Majjhima Yuga Vatu, Manda Yuga Vatu, are they the same? That's what you mean?
the lifespan, is it actually the
The
same?
lifespans are the same. Correct. Correct. The lifespan are the same, but we say that for in the I-door cognitive series, we are considering I consciousness and the I base. So the I base is Chakupasada. So the Chakupasada, that arises together with the visible object, is that arising of this Atita Bhuinga. And we call that the Majjhima Yuga Vatu. It has the same lifespan as the visible object. They arise together, so they will have the same lifespan. We call it Majjhima Yuga Vatu. And as in my the explanation of the striking image, so we say when the visible object strikes the I-door, I consciousness arises at that striking moment, at the striking point. So that's I consciousness. Which I base it would depend on? It depends on this eye base, on which way it arises. So that means eye consciousness arises on the eye base that has the same lifespan as the visible object. And that's all what we mean. And so when we say Mandayuka Vatus are the Vatu that arise earlier than the visible object, before the visible object arises. So the eye consciousness will not depend on them. So will not depend on them. And those Mandayuka Vatu are the basis that that arises after the visible object. So when they arise after the visible object, they seem to dissolve after the visible object dissolves. So because of that, they say, oh, when the visible object dissolves, this Hadya Vatu, these are the Chakku Vatu, eye bases, they do not dissolve yet. So they seem to have longer lifespan than the visible object. Just we say, seem to have. And they have, of course, the lifespan. But we differentiate between Mandayuka and Majjhima Yuka here. Any more? Oh, only these two keep rising, asking. No? So,
the practice of restraining the senses is to practice to see Paritaramana in order for the Javana to not have a kusala mind to arise during Javana time.
In Paritaramana,
yeah,
no Javana arises.
For monks, they practice restraining the senses. So is it Paritaramana?
So Paritaramana is visible object of the slight intensity. So for all person, you will be seeing all these sense objects. Sometimes the sense object may be very bright, some may be fairly bright, and some are not bright, not distinct. So all person, including arahats, they will be seeing all these objects. So no different.
And other than the five senses seeing, other materiality exists out there? Do they exist independent of sense bases?
Only five sense objects can appear in this five sense door.
So, do materiality exist independent of five sense doors and five?
Oh, materiality. There are 28 types of materiality. So we say only visible object, the sound, all these five sense objects, they are only seven materiality. So the seven materiality, visible object, the sound, the smell, the taste, and then the tangible object is Pathavi, Tejo, Vayo. Only these sense or the objects appear in the five door. So there are 28 materiality, 7 only now. 21 materiality will appear in the mind door. So will not appear in this five sense door. That's all. That's what you mean to us. Okay, any more? Oh.
Can there be a situation whereby the life continuum only vibrates once? Or must it always be twice at least?
I do not understand your question.
Because on page 126, it said that the life continuum vibrates twice without breaking the stream of the life continuum. So,
life continuum vibrates 2 times.
Can it vibrate only once, or must it at least be twice?
It is always 2 times. So like we say, the mind keep arising and dissolving at very, very tremendous speed. 1,000 billion, 1,000 billion, even per snap of the hand. So, no, when the sense object appear in the eye door, ear door, nose door, it's a signal for it to stop. It cannot be stopped in one after one life continuum. It cannot stop. Always two. There is the Chitta Niyama. No, all the Chitta, they follow the same Niyama. No, the same law. Chitta Niyama means the law of Niyama, the law of consciousness. No, so it would be one here, two here. That cannot be like that. Always two.
Sorry, one more question is, what is the object of Bhavanga consciousness?
I also told you it is the near-death sign. No, near-death sign of the past, immediate past life. The Bhavanga Chitta. On page 119, no, page 119, three types of Bhavanga Chitta, the topic, you see it? So you just read that first line. No, in the present life, the Bhavanga Chittas take the near-death sign of the immediate past life as their object. Okay, any more? So I think you have enough, Adi, no? So only those two keep asking, and saying, should be enough, no? So now, so let the rest, no? So go home now. So if you want to ask more questions, come personally with me. I will keep answering you, no? So let's say prayers now. Imaya Dhammanu Dhamma Patipatiya Buddham Bujemi. Imaya Dhammanu Dhamma Patipatiya Dhammam Bujemi. Imaya Dhammanu Dhamma Patipatiya Samkham Bujemi. With our holy practice, which is in accord with the 9 supramundane Dhammas, we pay obeisance to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. Idam me punyam asavakaya vaham hotu. May these merits of mine lead me to the extinction of all defilements. Idam me punyam nibbanasa paccaya hotu. May these merits of mine be conducive to my attainment of Nibbana. Imam na punya bhagam sabba saddhanam dema. Imam na punya bhagam sabba saddhanam dema. Imam na punya bhagam sabba saddhanam dema. We share our merits with all sentient beings. May all sentient beings obtain the share of our merits and be well and happy always. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.